All right, morning, guys. Let me get going here. All right. As we all know, we had a big session out of U.S. markets last night. We could see every sector up across the board. Really, as we got the announcement that a deal had been made, between the House and Senate, we saw a huge pop. And it really just kind of stuck. Market spiked up there and stayed up there for the entirety of the day. So we did have the Fed's beige book that was released as well, and that found that roughly 1/3 of the country experienced slower growth in September and early October. But no one's really paying attention to that. Yeah, it's out. Basically, there has been a lot of negative data coming out, earnings, all these kind of things, but the markets just strictly hasn't been paying attention to it. So, kind of got to be got to continue to go with what the market's focusing on at the moment. We have in Asia, you can see there, you can see that we got a nice move on the back of something happening finally in the Nikkei, but really kind of muted action for the most part there. We actually kind of faded the up move in Asia back half of the day. You can start to see that commodities are really starting to sell off, and there's markets are starting to soften up a little bit. The one thing that S&P came out last night and made comments saying that the shutdown's taken $24 billion out of the economy, and which will effectively trim the fourth quarter GDP growth by 0.6%. So, obviously those revisions are kind of already being made, but, it's some sort of damaging effect to the economy. But it hasn't really hurt the markets all that much. All right, like I said, the last few days we've been getting to the meat of earnings season. We saw eBay, IBM, and MX all report after the bell yesterday. I believe they were all after the bell. eBay came in 64 cents. I believe there was a tax adjustment in there, though, so it was actually a bit of a miss. But what was a real negative part out of eBay was the guidance going forward. They were expecting around 83 cents. Going forward, that came in between and guided between 79 and 81. So eBay really sold off hard after hours. It's down 5+%. IBM also was a beat on EPS, but quite a large beat on quite a large miss on the revenue number. IBM also selling off an after hours action, and then Amex was a nice beat on EPS and on revenue. So. Like I said, so far it's early in earnings season right now, but so far in the U.S., the earnings is really seriously lackluster on the first week and a half, and like we saw last night as well, the Fed's beige book, the growth isn't looking brilliant either, but the market's not paying attention to that at all at the moment. All right, we also had a trading statement out of SAB this morning, first half. Numbers for organic lager volume better than expected, 1% versus expectations of 0%. Latin America came in line at 1%. Europe was better at down 4%, expecting for down 5%. Africa was better by 1%, 9% versus 8%. And then Miller Coors sales to wholesalers was in line at negative 3.5%. So, the one thing that I would just make note of this morning is, there's definitely some real negative expectation coming into this trading statement. I think a lot of people were kind of shorting or are short going into this trading statement. The fact that it's a beat, I think, is really going to catch some people wrong-footed. So just watch that this morning. We could have a nice strong open and could have a little bit of a short squeeze going on today in SAB. All right, this afternoon in the States, we've got Philip Morris, Goldman Sachs, Verizon, Union Pacific, and Google after the bell. So continue getting into the meat here of earnings season. Very little on the in terms of market data today. We had Japanese machine tool orders in line. We got UK retail sales, US initial jobless claims, and then we've got the Philadelphia Fed business numbers. I think what's going to be interesting now is over the next, sometime I think in the next week, we're going to get just a onslaught of earnings that's gonna that or not earnings, sorry, government data that's gonna hit us. So that's something that we're gonna have to pay attention for. I think that's gonna be it's gonna be a jam-packed day full of analysts to have a look at, and it's really gonna probably be a difference maker for our market. So just be aware that that's coming up in the next few days. All right, let's jump into the maps. First thing I wanted to have a look at here is Mr. Price. I'm actually going to go back. So a lot of these charts, it helps for us at the moment to be looking at 2 year, just because they're breaking out of patterns that have been setting up over the past almost full year. You can see there 45. We know that was a huge level. We had a nice little consolidation, kind of almost flagging up into this level over the past maybe month. Mr. Price been trading incredibly well. You can see here, I mean, when you go back and you look at this, I mean, this is unbelievably convincing for a breakout and a monster target higher. I would say as much as 30 Rand if you take that channel over the longer period of time. You can back this thing out a little bit further as well. Sorry, I just screwed that up. Anyway, you can really see, there we go, how we've made this long protracted up move into the sideways consolidation that's literally happened for a full year, and now we've broken out to the upside. So this is very significant, and I think we can definitely go significantly higher in Mr. Price if the market allows it over the next couple months. All right, that's a chart that we're going to see a lot of over the next little while as well. Over the next few charts we're going to show. You can see here Bidvest. Bidvest also kind of really making a breakout from kind of a longer term flag pattern. Maybe a little narrowing wedge here, whatever you want to call it. But bottom line, we haven't taken out all-time highs. The closing highs are right up here around 263. We did get up to 263 yesterday. We couldn't manage to close up there. And we also, if we shorten this up a touch, you can see here how we've had a lot of consolidation over the past, I guess that's a month and a half, right here kind of below 260, and we managed to break above and close above that yesterday. So I think any way you look at it, this thing has broken out, and in my mind, it also has quite a significantly higher target on the breakout of this in Bidvest. I like to see it close above 263 for a new closing high there. All right, Remgro. I mean, if you notice, these patterns are all looking virtually identical so far. You can see Remgro here, same sort of things, pushing up right up against that, the trend line resistance here, or to break out of this top that's been forming here. The interesting thing is, if you look at the close, this here was our highest close, which is back in May. Of a close of 201.07. We closed at 201.50 last night, so that's actually a new closing high that we made on Remgro. So that's obviously definitely bullish, but I would look for a break above, maybe call it 2 or 3.5, to really get above this little bit of resistance that we've got there, and can really move to a significantly higher target from there if we get higher on Remgro. All right, Mutual also same sort of pattern. It's just incredible how every stock has the exact same pattern. Just shows you, that we're not even looking very much stock specific as we are just looking market in general. You can see we've popped out of the top there in Old Mutual as well of this little flag pattern. Definitely a convincing pattern. I think the target on this at least 2 to 3 Rand higher could take us all the way up to about 34 Rand on Old Mutual. MTN, another one. The pattern here finally looks different, which is great because you don't feel like it's just the same old trade. But we've obviously been in a big uptrend now for going back to the better part of a year. You can see here, obviously we failed the other day on the back of the interconnection rates, but yesterday, day before yesterday, we made our new closing high. We finally got above 200 and it stuck yesterday. I think there's definitely some upside here. We have kind of been definitely in an upward sloping range. So I think maybe 205ish would be getting closer to the top end of that range. in the near term. But I mean, we've broken out quite clearly here, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing do a lot more than 205 now that we've finally broken out above 200. All right, and then the last one I want to show here is Standard Bank. We showed this chart a million times, but I'm going to go back again to a 10-year chart here, and just this is like your ridiculously long-term flag that's set up here, and we've broken out. The reason why I wanted to show this is because a lot of people are looking at kind of fading this one because it spiked from 120 to 127.50 now at kind of 3 days of trading or 2 days of trading. But have a look at this chart. I mean, we're looking at a 10-year chart here. I mean, we can go back to 20 years, I suppose. It's just the size of this flag is giving us technically just a much higher target than 127.50 or anything along those lines. I mean, we're looking, this thing could be going another 10 rand here in the near term on the breakout of this 120 level, and that's how significant this was. Remember, our first touch at 120 was back in 2007. We touched it again in 2009, again in 2010. Again in 2012 several times. This year we've touched it about 5 or 6 times, and now we've finally gotten above it and held above it. It's to be bought on pullbacks. I don't think this one necessarily is to be sold, so just be careful. Especially this one long term, this chart is looking incredibly bullish for us to get a huge breakout here over the next few months. And that's it for today, guys. Thanks a lot.